This is Jeremiah 7, Jeremiah 49, verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perish from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Giving all the praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachahakwadash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere shalom, labakarium, shal yasha'Allah, that's peace to the elect of the nation of Israel. And it looks like the wisdom and the counsel is no longer with these devils, man. Now we know this is the time for the true prophets of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to stand up and properly put these pieces to this prophetic puzzle together. That's why when you go over here to Jeremiah 28, verse 8, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against countries and against kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And that's what the true prophets in these last days will be doing. They'll be coming against the king mountain. The top mountain is Babylon the Great, aka America. And all the other mountains, all the other small governments, right? Large and wide, all sit under her. But now the Heavenly Father Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai is casting down that woman that sit upon the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns you read about in Revelations chapter 17. All these prophetic books are taking place on planet Earth, which in that entails the Great Awakening has happened and the great sealing of the Lord's elect. See, all this is starting to catch up with each other. You know, the prophecies, they're closing in on planet Earth. Each and every prophecy looks like the major ones are happening at the same time. Because this event, you can spin so many things out of this event here. This event that's going on, it carries arms or legs like a octopus. So we can see many things taking place and coming out of this. And one of the main things, Salaki for that, one of the main things we see is that MOTB. They can drop that small nuclear tactical weapon out there in the Middle East, because it looks like America is getting their ass kicked by little old Iran. You know, and it's going to force Israel to take that Samson option to get out of this, which they are threatening to use. And this could be the event that we need that can change the face of the world and push everybody into this digital system. Because we know behind closed doors, the mark of the beast is coming, and it's coming strong. And this is what we're looking at. We're looking at the war. We see it. But we know that it ain't going to escalate until all-out thermonuclear destruction, until the Lord implement this hour of temptation. But wisdom is no longer in Teman. Teman in the scriptures would represent them scientists from out of Germany. Okay? And they help put the Edomites as a whole on a level with the technology. You know, then you also got the Chaldeans, which would be the wizards and the warlocks, the left-hand energy. A lot of that is stemming out of the Vatican. That's one of those frogs that came out of her that you read about in Revelation 16. And they've been fueling this beast system, fueling Esau, man, fueling their financial system. You know, this whole system has been running by witchcraft on the left-hand side. And now we see this man is at his end. And it's a beautiful thing. That's why you need the prophets of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai at the end of every empire to break it down for the chosen ones that's going to be saved out of this madness. Because the Lord is, he's coming to deliver his elect. You best believe that. That's Matthew 24, verse 30 and 31. The Lord is coming back, and he's going to get his chosen ones. But we're going to be in the midst of this confusion as this place go down. So once again, Jeremiah 28, verse 8, it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war. This is what the prophets were speaking about. They wasn't debating, especially at a time like this. Especially at a time like this. You will be putting these prophecies together in a proper order and serving them to the Lord's chosen at this time. And debating does nothing for these end time prophecies. So when you see these Israelites, you know, hanging out on these YouTube channels, debating, worrying about their subscribers, talking about the Gentiles, what the Gentile salvation got to do with what's going on right now, then you know that these men are not the prophets of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The prophets have been activated for these moments specifically, especially when they start rolling out that MOTB system, man. So it says, against countries and against kingdoms of war. The prophets is telling you about war and rumors of war. Telling you that World War III was going to begin like this. Telling you how World War III is going to end. Letting you know that there will be a nuclear holocaust. Letting you know what countries are going to get hit with these bombs based on the scriptures. Putting together Persia, Iran, and they're going to link up with Russia and properly guiding you through these scriptures, man. The true prophets of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai are doing these things right now. And this is a very heated time, I would say. The Lord has turned it up a notch for the men to come out. And we have a more sure word of prophecy. That's why it's exciting, because they say the men of the Lord was crazy. You know, our apostles, a great millstone. They've been out there for 30 plus years, 40 something years for Apostle Tahar. You know, you got the bishops of Connecticut, the elders that came in through the Great Awakening in 2007. Then you have the younger individuals, soldiers like myself, that came in at the tail end of this thing and called Allah, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, for that. Right after the nick of time. You know? But the men are doing their job. The men are doing their job. And it's about over. We are at the end of this man's kingdom, and we're at the beginning of Yahweh Shai's kingdom. And it's a beautiful thing to see it go down this way. So it says, and against great kingdoms of war and of evil. We telling you, the men of the Lord been telling you that evil is coming. And you gonna see this devil about to use the last thing he got, which is this sword. They tell you in Revelations, what's that, Revelation 6, about this red horse. And this red horse was given a sword that he should take peace from the earth. Who is that red horse? That's Esau. And that sword goes back to Genesis, the 27th chapter, when Isaac, who, if you can receive it, was Yahweh Shai, gave Esau a futuristic blessing. Basically a blessing for the future. The blessing for the future. It was that sword, and that modern day sword has been perfected and transformed into these bombs, man. You know, as well as biological warfare. And they're threatening that as well. So while the world right now got their eyes glued on the Middle East, so do we. But we got our eyes glued on these scriptures. But we know here in Babylon the Great, something horrific is about to happen. Because this whole system is about to change. And it can happen at any time. That's how scary this thing is. Nobody thought that you was going to go to bed this Friday and wake up on Saturday and America has attacked Iran. And they throwing down out there. And I got this video I'm gonna play, because over here in the east, I mean, it's like over here in the west, they not telling you the truth of what's happening, man. They just killed some CIA agents over there in Dubai, man. And Jake, you out there in Dubai, you stupid right now, man. You know, for the so-called Negro woman, you out there in Dubai trying to get yourself a bag, you real stupid, man. A lot of y'all not gonna make it back breathing. They're gonna be shipping you back over here in a body bag. It says, and of evil and of pestilence, the prophets which prophesy of peace. So if you got men telling you it's gonna be all good, the Gentiles can be saved right now. What the Gentiles doing right now? All the nations you see fighting are all Gentile nations. They not fighting for these prophecies here. They not fighting for the book. They not talking about you. These nations are all going with the plan of the elites. They all going into the new world order, and they all will take this chip as well. The heathen ain't worrying about salvation from Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. That's us. So if you got a man of the Lord that's out there teaching, he's telling you about the heathens, the Gentiles can be saved at a time like this, you worrying about the Gentiles, those are not the prophets. You need the prophets right now. You got a man talking about come over and tune in this Saturday at 8 o'clock and watch me debate some damn Kemet group. Those ain't the men of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. You got a so-called prophet talking about we should be building farms and trading and going to buy land at a time like this, where the Lord is about to unleash these bombs on the land. Those ain't the men of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. Because the true men will be telling you the rough and rugged things of this book, because it's about to get real aggressive out here. The prophets which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that Yahweh hath utterly sent him. And that ain't coming to pass right now. We are not in a time of peace. And so let's get into this video here. You know, this is Jackson Hickle Official. He got another site. It's called Target something. You know, I just recently started following him because, you know, these underground medias are popping up everywhere. Some of these guys could be controlled opposition too, but they are grabbing some of this international news that we need and letting you know what's going on. And this just came out about 30 minutes ago. It says Iran strikes CIA headquarters in Dubai. So they not going to report that on CNN. They're not going to report this on Fox News. So they are giving you the real, because it's one-sided. They want to keep you Babylonian sleep to make you think, yeah, this is America from the 60s, and you know, we're gonna do the same thing we did in World War I and World War II, which they lied about both of those wars. They lied about both of those wars. You know, and they're gonna try to spin it with this, but because the Lord, let me get this here before I get this video. We're in a time of revealing. We're in a time of revealing. The Lord is letting everything out. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, which happened. Now we're coming back to our nationality. And that man of sin be revealed. So right now, this devil is being revealed on so many levels. Let me just click on this word reveal. It's like it for this echo. This is revealed. It says to disclose, to tell on. You know, this internet here, this third witness, you know, along with this chat GPT, it's telling on this devil, man. It says to let slip. What's that? Songs 64 and 8. Their own tongue shall fall on them. Now all this information is slipping out. That's why there's no more wisdom in teaming. This man is greatly despised. The Lord made him small amongst the heathen. Everybody hating the small hats, and everybody hating, you know, Babylon the Great for rolling with the small hats. Now the truth is being revealed that the tiny tops, they rule planet Earth. And they're responsible for 99% of the wickedness that's been flowing in planet Earth. All this is coming out now, because we're in a time of letting it slip. It says to let down. to let fall, to give away, to give the game. You know, this computer system, this internet was set up so that we can expose this devil, man. And you know, we can give you the game, meaning to let you know the lowdown of what's really happening while it's time. Now we know they're gonna heavily censor this, you know, this internet real soon, this YouTube, as well as all these other platforms. They got so much AI being used on these platforms now. You got to use the spirit of discernment to find out what's true and what's not true, and if that's a real, you know, anchor reporting or not, you know. And you using the spirit to discern through everything, because we're in a great time of deception. But the Lord is using his internet to let the beans spill, to unveil, to bring out into the opening. So everything is coming out in the opening about the end of the world, about the end of days, about who we are. So many books are being opened towards the firmament. I can tell you in 2nd Ezra 6, and we shall all see together. Everybody's finding out that we the real, you know, J-E-double-O, not J-double-O, but you get what I'm saying. We from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin and Levi. We the real northern and southern kingdom. That's us. All the information is coming out about them being the Edomites. We at the end of Esau's world. The kingdom of heaven is coming in. This is a beautiful time, man. I mean, we can't stress this enough. So despite the hell, the money issues, I'm going through it. I know the Akim going through it, right? Health issues and shit, getting up. You know, you got family problems. All these things are going to be minor compared to the grand scheme of Yahweh and his son Yahushua and what they about to do to this place and free us from this, man. We going home soon. This is what all this is leading to. And see, the elites know that. So we come into that final war, man. So the Lord said, hey, he bringing it to the opening. So it said that man should be revealed, the son of perdition, right? The one who brings destruction. The son of perdition is someone who just set aside or set out for destruction. And this man has been set aside, pointed out. This is his lot. He's been fitted for the day of evil, like Proverbs 16:4 tell you. You know, the wicked is created for the day of evil. So he's created for this day. He was given a sword for this day. It goes down this way, you know. It starts in the Middle East, then it ends up in Babylon. So yeah, they banging out over there. But let me play this video right here. Hold on.
So Iran targeted the United States' CIA headquarters in Dubai and the UAE. Israeli Channel 15 came out and confirmed that. There's now a circulating report claiming that 6 senior CIA officers were killed in the UAE after precision strike hit a residence used by agency personnel in Dubai, with 2 others reportedly being injured. In the past 24 hours, if you can believe it, Iran has attacked directly or indirectly 15 different countries or their militaries, okay? They have attacked Israel, United States, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, Bahrain, Oman, Syria, Cyprus, France, Italy, and the United Kingdom, okay?
Damn.
Now, there's a little asterisk around the United Kingdom and the whole Cyprus thing, because actually the missiles, they launched 2 ballistic missiles this morning, reportedly, at Cyprus, which houses thousands of British troops. There's 2 UK military bases on Cyprus, as well as thousands of Israeli troops. In fact, Israelis are just like buying up the land left and right. It's basically becoming like little St. James Island 2.0 for Israelis, Cyprus is. It's not even going to be a country anymore in a few years. It's just going to be swallowed into Israel. Okay, but that being said, I said put the asterisk around the United Kingdom Cyprus story, because there was no reports of anything actually happening. There was just allegations that missiles were launched in the direction. But we have new information from Middle East Spectator, who is my trusted source, one of my, go-to sources for following everything. I followed Middle East Spectator on all these conflicts, and by far and away out of the Telegram accounts, the fastest, the best, the most accurate, most insider information, ideologically coherent and whatnot. Middle East Spectator is the best. And they just reported...
Bro, the level just started. We're already getting overrun. I gotta take these guys out and build this crossbow tower as fast as possible. I don't even think I have a choice.
Initial reports of an Iranian missile or drone strike at the Akrotiri Air Base in Cyprus, which houses British forces and aircraft. Now, this is absolutely huge. Obviously, Israel operates out of there. Obviously, the UK operates out of there. The UK has come out and admitted that they are party to this conflict. They said, we are participating. We are proud of the fact that we are participating, so on and so forth, right? Initial reports of an Iranian missile or drone strike at the Akrotiri Air Base in Cyprus, which houses British forces and aircraft. And I guess it would maybe give more of a reason for the recent reports we've been seeing from London, Berlin, and Paris that they're going to join in on the conflict for defensive purposes, of course, right? Now, what's so incredible about this whole thing is, like, Israel claims, like, oh, we're so big and strong because we achieved air superiority above Iran. And that's even disputed. But, like, who cares? Like, first of all, you achieved nothing. You achieved nothing, Israel. Everything you've ever achieved is because the U.S. taxpayer has been forced to give it to you. Your fighter jets, your air defense.
Yeah, that. And everything is coming out. He's right about that. You know, Israel is America's baby, America's pet, because the small hats control this place. Now you got everybody speaking out like that. Let's hear that again.
Disputed, but, like, who cares? Like, first of all, you achieved nothing. You achieved nothing, Israel. Everything you've ever achieved is because the U.S. taxpayer has been forced to give it to you. Your fighter jets, your air...
Thou art greatly despised, and he's right. Those nuclear weapons that they threaten to use, where they get them from? They got them from over here in the West. All the fighter jets, all that, the ammunition. Israel is heavily armed, because of Babylon the Great. But that's not going to stop them against prophecy, And the Lord said, let the weak say, I am strong. Now, those weak countries, that would have been Iran in the early 90s, right? 1992, 93. Well, they facing them almost 30-something years later, and they coming with force. You heard how many countries that Iran hit? They wilding out there. And I saw another report where they said we ain't even asked for Russia help yet. So they even telling Russia, we don't even need you to step in yet. We got this. But that they're gonna push that envelope, and we see the escalation with this. But we also see that man behind a mirror, which is that MOTB man. We know that they need this. They need the chaos. Problem, action, solution. So this is gonna spin off into a big problem. The reaction, they're gonna cause a lot of chaos, man. It's gonna be some big T attacks over here too. They can use this for the Black Swan event. Like I said, they can use this situation so many ways because it's heated. Bodies are dropping. And those 4 bodies they keep throwing around, man, there's reports that the bodies are up into the thousands. Go check it out. Check out these off-grid, news stations, man. They reporting 800, 900 bodies, Americans, All this stuff gonna come out. But as you can see, everybody know that you small hats are in bed with Babylon. And it's going to make it a hard road for DJ Trump, man. Donald Trump going to have a hard time with this thing here. But this is all prophecy. So I said it's a beautiful time, man, to be on the side of Yahushua and to understand the puzzles to this book. This is 2 Ezra 9, verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently. You're supposed to be measuring this thing diligently. When he say diligently, he means it. Let's look this word up. Diligently. Diligently, in a way that shows care and Let me see here. I'm sorry. Let me open this up. In a way that shows care and consciousness in one's work or duty. So we're very conscious and very careful with these prophecies right now, man. But as we see this thing unfolding, it strengthens your faith. Yes, it do. The scriptures say we have a more sure word of prophecy. So the Lord said we're supposed to be measuring thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And this world is about to be paid a visitation from Yahweh and his son Yahushua. And that's going to be in the form of this fire. And that's what all this is leading to. So as you can see, they're not telling you the truth of what's going on over there in the east right now. Trump just, around 12 o'clock, he just did a little press conference. They ain't mentioned nothing about these CIA agents. They ain't mentioned nothing about Iran wilding out, hitting all these countries. We seen Britain buck up, said we not rolling with, and this is the scripture, the Lord said in Jeremiah, his mother should be ashamed of her. Britain just said, look, we ain't fully with this attack, which they're lying, you know, because they let them launch from they sites out there. So what's going on? This is Satan being divided. Matthew 12 and 25. The Lord said, if Satan is divided against Satan, he shall fall. So these devils are scrambling, man. This is a beautiful thing to see your enemy, to see our enemy scramble like this, man. Hold on a second. I think I got I'm at the plantation. Hold on. Let me see something. We got a run. All right, so I might cut this in a second. All right, yeah, I'm at the start the plantation, but let me just finish this up. So it says, measure thou the time diligently in itself. All right, let's jump back to that. Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, yeah, those Ishmaelites are uproaring out there. You know, and I saw a black helicopter fly over my plantation this morning too. It was clearly a black helicopter, military, and it was flying about maybe 1,000 feet, and it was just cruising. It was loud too. So they patrolling these areas hard because they know the uproars of the people. You know, New York City, that new Muslim mayor, it's gonna be an uproar for real. This thing is going down. It says, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before, even from the beginning, man. And as you can see, the Lord is speaking. Let me see if I can get a little more of this.
Your defense systems, your missiles, your stupid Iron Dome, all this bullshit is because you literally blackmailed our politicians with Jeffrey Epstein and you stole this shit. Okay? Damn. So, oh yeah, we have air superiority. Well, how about this? In 5 hours, Iran was able to close the airspaces in all these countries. And all these countries in the region. Dubai airport is closed. Abu Dhabi airport is closed. Doha airport is closed. Kuwait airport is closed. Bahrain airport is closed. Ben Gurion is closed. Okay, and all the airspaces are closed as well. We also saw today that Iran bombed an Emirati oil rig in the Persian Gulf with a Shahid drone. This is the first time that we have seen Iran launch these large-scale attacks on the oil and gas assets. Now, if Saudi Arabia joins the war tomorrow, which Trump is hinting at, it's going to be over. It's not just going to be Iran launching at these oil and gas assets, and Saudi Arabia knows that. I don't know why on earth they would decide to join this war, because it's not just going to be Iran. In fact, their biggest issue is going to be Yemen, because the last time Yemen was striking at those oil and gas fields in Saudi Arabia, they hit one of these oil fields, and global oil prices skyrocketed by 5% in a sale is ending today.
Yeah,
If you do not take advantage of this
as
deal,
you can see, this thing is intensifying, you know, just like we hope and call all Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But we know if the Lord do allow this to calm down and just hit the brakes a bit, you know, that's for prophecy to take place. But this thing has opened up a can of worms and a can of whip ass for Babylon the Great. They didn't expect it to go this way. So is wisdom anymore in teaming? Nah, they ain't dealing with the wisdom. They not that same superpower that they was in the beginning, which shows that the rulership has ended with you Edomites. And this is how it ends. And the last thing you got are those weapons, man. And we are going into thermonuclear destruction, despite what your analysts may say. This is all prophecy, but not until this whole system gets switched and the hour temptation, the implantation of that micro C-hip is sent upon the world. Then our Lord Yahweh Shai gonna crack these skies, man, and come back for his elect, giving all the praise, honor, and all the glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachah HaKodash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere Shalom, Lavakarium, Shal Yasha Allah, that's peace to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.